Hello out there, sports fans. Welcome to our podcast today, The Brand and the Source. This is Coach EJ, The Brand.
This is Coach Aaron, the source. EJ, what's on tap for us today?
Hey, we got a cool subject. It's going on pretty prevalent right now with college coaches right now. It's the issue of what happens if you get decommitted. You're a junior or you're a senior. What happens now, Aaron? If you're a senior, man, it's like, wow, I had this commitment, this scholarship offer, and now it's being taken away from me because the school is deciding to go in another direction. That's the subject today.
Yeah, it's that guess in the old days, those old terms, it's the Dear John letter, soldier boy.
Right?
uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
someone else to date. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Right? It's like, hello, but guess what? This is what's happening.
Yeah,
Man, it's crazy.
interesting. Because again, we talked about this, before. With the transfer portal and athletes
Right.
being able to move around the way they can, it seems like it's a ever-changing landscape, and
Right.
everyone's reserving the ability to change their minds. We hear a lot about it with athletes on their side decommitting, but we don't also hear about when the institutions say, hey, you know what, it's not going to work. So I think it's a good subject because it happens. It happens, more often than not. Again, we just see one side of it. So yeah, let's delve into it.
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts on it?
Well, Aaron, right now it's, like you said, the transfer portal in baseball. If we just talk about baseball, and this has happened in all the sports, by the way, because I was asking Haley Breakwell, one of our associates, Aaron, about how's the transfer portal affecting her business in softball training, and what are her athletes saying? And they're basically saying the same thing. It's like, it's a 1 year contract, and which it is anyway. And people seem to be bouncing around like it's no big deal. And some of her girls are getting decommitted from, choices that they had out there, that they thought were, pretty guaranteed spots. But because colleges can go look at a more experienced athlete at that level who has some sort of track record or credibility, that they rather go ahead and do that and get that person who's been in college for a year or two, maybe not have been a starter somewhere, but they get them at a school, and all of a sudden, here, am I going to take a freshman that's incoming versus an experienced college player? And it's free. It's the wild, wild west. It's free agency. So the universities are now saying, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna decommit some of these seniors, that these freshmen that are coming into our university in a year, and they're doing it. And this is how it is. And I think I tell all athletes that do have a commitment early, is that the work is beginning now. Once you get your commitment, and it can be early, whether it's before the deadline of this year, April 26th, 2023, and they said, hey, listen, you got to stop your recruiting. If you had a commitment before then, the work just starts. And then if you're a junior and you just got a commitment and you said, hey, I'm committed to this university, your work is only beginning. So this commitment thing is going to be ongoing, Aaron. And my initial thoughts are the work is just now beginning for people who are committed. And it's just part of the landscape right now. Those are just my initial early thoughts about it. Part of the landscape.
Well, I have a question. What do you think? Is it more likely they're obviously, it seems more likely that they're decommitting a lot of the upperclassmen, so
Mm-hmm.
seniors, and not kids that they're getting to commit in the ninth grade. Uh,
Right.
they've got time to see if they pan out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, nothing is guaranteed. So, I mean, what do you think an athlete can do to, I guess you can't insulate yourself from this, but maybe let's discuss some strategies to rebound from this sort of, call. And should athletes already just have a plan B or a school B in place just in case? I mean, do they keep lines of communication open, or do they, I don't know if that's against NCAA rules, to still be talking to other schools, or, up to the point where it's time to go off. Uh,
Right.
or I don't know, again, what strategies maybe some of these athletes and parents can employ, at least, hey, okay, we're decommitted, this is what we need to do now. What's maybe some steps that they can take, so that they can find another school?
Well, the first thing I always say when you do commit, don't burn bridges because you never know what's going to happen. What if you do get decommitted? So the first thing I would say, if you do get, committed,
Uh-huh.
don't burn bridges and always do it in a professional manner. And that will always keep your doors open if you do get decommitted.
Right.
So that would be the first thing. The second thing is that, you're in a very short window. If we're looking at baseball, Aaron, right now, I believe that schools can go out and see athletes till October the 9th this year. So my antidote or my conclusion to this is that parents, you may have to go out and go to some go to universities and go to their prospect camps, or get in front of them. That's the best thing you can do right now, is to get in front of those people that maybe you had a relationship with, or maybe some new situations that you could go to. So that would be one thing, is go out there, find if these universities have some prospect camps that they're looking to add players, then I would go do that. But I get in contact. The other thing was get in contact with prospective schools and ask, are you looking for me, that type of player that I could, be to help your university? I would get in contact with those schools immediately and ask them, are you still recruiting a pitcher? Are you still recruiting a catcher, a shortstop, whatever position you play? I think that's a good strategy, is to get on the phone. Don't send an email. You send emails, they go right to the baseball operations person and probably get stuck in their email somewhere, or it gets sent to the head coach, and the head coach doesn't have time looking at it. So I would definitely make a phone call. I think that's your best recourse of action. I would also say, reach out to other people that have influence in the industry that could help you, maybe guide you and give you some other suggestions to, or contacts that could help you find the right place to go to at that. Does it fit for me academically? Stuff like that. So I get some people that have some really good knowledge about doing that. And there are people out there that do have that knowledge. So I tell parents that. The third thing, Aaron, I think, is to, first of all, take a deep breath and don't, like, what's wrong with me? I think you need to slow down and think, okay, listen, I got decommitted. I need to move forward. I need to move past this and get through this, and not kind of wallow for 2, 3, or 4 weeks, because those 2 or 4 weeks are very important. You need to be on this right away because your window is very short. So I think that those are my initial first three things that I would do to move forward after I've gotten decommitted.
Okay. No, I think those are all great. You're basically saying, hey, have keep that list of plan B schools. Keep those relationships open, and be gracious when you're turning those
Right.
offers. And then the other thing is, keep that calendar. Be aware of the baseball calendar and when these events are going, because again, like you said, you can commit and then be like, okay, well, I'm off to bigger and better things.
Right.
Something like this happens, it can catch you on your heels. And so you still have to be aware of what's happening on the baseball calendar to say, hey, we've still got time to participate in this event, and that event, which is a good strategy. And so I think those are some really good key points. And it's once you commit, we always say, hey, get ready for the next level. So,
Mhm.
I guess that's a given. You should always be ready. So maybe call it always be ready to interview. If
That's great.
you have a great cushy job, it doesn't hurt to always be ready to interview for another opportunity, a better opportunity, or the opportunity that you lose. So I think that sort of mindset is good. And then again, don't let, like you mentioned, don't let it break your confidence. It necessarily isn't a personal slap. A lot of these are strategic and financial decisions by these institutions. And
Right.
taking it personal doesn't really get you anywhere. Maybe use it as that chip on your shoulder, and you want to go out and prove them wrong, that they made a mistake in decommitting to you. But the key is, I guess the key takeaway is always be moving forward.
Yeah. And Aaron, a lot of times in these institutions decommit an athlete, it does have a lot to do with financial stuff because maybe they needed to bring in another position that was lacking the year before, and it needs to be strong over the next 2 years, and they need somebody now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. And the second thing I like to mention is that um, athletes need to continue to not only work but to understand the needs of that university and to keep in communication with the university. I think a lot of kids get committed and they go out, okay, I got committed my sophomore year, and here I'm going through my junior year and senior year, pro seniors, and this is fun and I'm having a good time. And they forget about developing and progressing during that year and a half or 2 years before they get on the college campus. And it's just like they're happy because they got committed instead of putting their head down and working it. And I think universities see that.
Mhm.
And that's why they decommit a lot of athletes. It's like, this guy's not panning out the way we thought they would progress. And that's why they get decommitted,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Before, yeah. Like you said, these kids, they sit on the laurels, I guess, per se. And especially if you're an early commit, these coaches are going to want to see year to year development. If you look like the same kid they did when you committed in the ninth grade, and you're in the 11th grade, that's
Right.
say something. And so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess one of the takeaways from what you were saying too is monitor their roster, because their needs change. And if you're, again, you're a ninth grade or 10th grade commit or whatever, and you're playing catcher, then all of a sudden you see that they've signed two or three more catchers, in the coming years that may have 3 or 4 years eligibility.
Mhm.
That might say something to you. Are they still really committed to you, who's still 2, 3 years out? Or, hey, have they kind of, set their plate for that position now? And it's just a matter of them giving you the call. So, yeah, I would think monitoring their recruitment process would be, or their roster would be, an indirect way of staying informed and maybe reading the tea leaves.
Right. Definitely. Another subject I think we might want to talk about is that once you get your commitment, what should you be doing? That's in the future, people. Listen to that. I think that would be a good podcast for us. We're going down this road so you don't get decommitted.
Right.
So, I think those are some good points, some valid points today, Aaron, about decommitted athletes and what they should do.
Right. No, I agree. Good stuff, EJ.
Okay, bud. Well, hey, like we said, this is the brand and the source. This is Coach EJ, the brand.
Coach Aaron, the source. We'll see you.